Deadpool 2 is finally here, the sequel to the 2016 smash starring Ryan Reynolds. Now, when I first saw this film in 2016, I was totally blown away. Purely because it was just a film that came out of left field. It went against everything that the comic book genre stood for and everything that we'd seen for comic book films in the past, be it Captain America, Iron Man and so forth. Here was a character that was profane, feisty, he had brutally funny action sequences, brutal action, it broke the fourth wall barrier, and more importantly, it was a role that was made specifically for Ryan Reynolds. This is the role that he was born to play. Nobody can play this role better than him. And as a result of that, this was a film that was one of the highest grossing R-rated films of 2016, grossed over $780 million worldwide, and won a few awards in the process. Now here we are 2 years later with Deadpool 2. And in this film we see Ryan Reynolds in the lead as Deadpool again, playing a protector for a mutant child against a time-traveling alien called Cable, played by Josh Brolin, who again, in another Marvel film, the first one was Thanos in Avengers Infinity Wars, and it is Deadpool's job to protect him against Cable. But when he finds out that he's not able to do it, he assembles his own group called X-Force, and then these team come together to try and stop Cable. Now, this plot sounds a lot like, something from the Terminator films, and it really much does, but you know what? The plot is secondary, because what I love most about this film is the fact that it doesn't take itself too seriously. The Deadpool films know exactly what they are. That is, they are satirical, they are comical, they are self-deprecating, and they're very subversive. And this film works on so many levels, and you know what? It doesn't disappoint. I'm glad that as a sequel, this film is a worthy successor to its predecessor. It's longer, and it's funnier, and it's got more action in it, and it does everything that a sequel that is meant to do. That is, build on the first film and give us something more to enjoy, which it does. Now, this film has another director at the helm. Tim Miller, who directed the first film, he was, that was his first feature film. And he's known more for animation and, being a second unit director and so forth. But in this film, the directing reins are handed over to David Leitch. Now, David Leitch is a stunt coordinator, second unit director, and he was responsible for doing John Wick. He was responsible for directing Atomic Blonde, starring Charlize Theron, and he'll be directing the up-and-coming Hobbs and Shaw film starring Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham. And in this film, he fully utilizes his action background. And what we have here in this film are more developed and more thorough action sequences, beautiful hand-to-hand combat sequences. And the fight sequences in this film are less comic book and more action-packed and more stylized and more realistic, in the same vein as the Atomic Blonde and John Wick films. And this film has got a beautiful ensemble cast. What can I say? Josh Brolin is on a roll. He was superb in Avengers Infinity Wars, and he was superb as Cable in this film. Even though he doesn't come into the film, for like the first 10-20 minutes or so, when he comes on, he is on. Not only is he a menacing villain, but he is also a comedic one in this film as well. He's got some excellent comedic one-liners in this film, and I love the interaction between him and Ryan Reynolds in this film. And I read somewhere that he's done a 4-picture deal to play Cable, and he said that this film is just an introductory role. So I'll be really, really glad to see what he brings next in the following films. Also, Domino, played by Zazie Beetz. She was in Geostorm, which was pretty much of a disappointing film, but I loved her as Domino in this film. Very charismatic, very entertaining, and she complements the film very, very well. And I like the interaction between her and Ryan Reynolds' character as well. And I see great things for her in the future. But for me, the real star of this film is Ryan Reynolds, who's not only a producer in this film, but was also a co-writer on the script for Deadpool, and he was phenomenal in this film. I'll say it once, I'll say it again. This role was, if you ask yourself this question, who could play Deadpool other than Ryan Reynolds, you'd be stumped. He is a very, very charismatic actor, and he's on charismatic form for this film. And, his charm just oozes off the screen, and he breaks the fourth wall barrier again in this film, and this film is just very, very entertaining. I was not disappointed in one way, shape or form. And what I love most about this film, that as a sequel to a film that was just so out of left field, and just broke so many rules and so many boundaries, that the second entry in this film was just as entertaining. When I saw Kick-Ass 1, when I saw Kingsman film, these were films that just tore up the script for the comic book genre and the spy genre, and I loved every minute of this film. But when I saw the sequels, I was totally disappointed. Just totally underwhelmed, and they've got no space in my DVD collection at all. But Deadpool 2 does not disappoint. It's faster, it's got more jokes in it, it's funnier, it's got more violence in it, and it is a film that will just keep you entertained. And there is one post-credit sequence in this film that has to be one of the best post-credit sequences in a film I've ever seen. When you talk about a film that is self-deprecating, this film, I'm not even going to spoil it for you, but I loved every minute of it. It came out of left field and it was a touch of genius. Credit to Ryan Reynolds and the other two writers on Deadpool 2. So, that's my review of Deadpool 2. I'm going to give this film a 9 out of 10. And this is one that I highly recommend that you watch. This is one that will be in that it should be in a DVD collection. It's going to be in my DVD collection. And that's my review. If you liked what you saw, please feel free to subscribe to my channel. Feel free to leave your comments and I shall see you on the next film review. Take care.